All right, gearing up for a geotechnician interview. Smart move.
Yeah.
And you're in the right place for this deep dive. We're going to help you absolutely crush it.
Yeah, we've got a whole stack of RoleCatcher resources here.
Career guides, interview guides.
Even a peek into some of their AI tools.
And our mission here is to equip you with not just the knowledge, but the strategies to land that dream geotech job.
And you know what's really fascinating about this field?
What's that?
Geotech work, it's so much more than just, digging in the dirt. You're literally unraveling the Earth's secrets.
Yeah, it's like being a detective of the Earth.
Exactly.
So let's jump right in.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's interview guide gave us 9 common questions that pop up in these interviews for aspiring geotechnicians.
Right.
And we're not just going to list them, we're going to break them down.
We're going to dissect them.
Understand the why behind them and give you a strategic approach to just knock your answers out of the park.
And the beauty of RoleCatcher is that they don't just leave you hanging with these generic tips. They actually have AI that can analyze your answers and give you feedback tailored to specific geotech roles. So imagine having a virtual coach in your pocket who knows exactly what those hiring managers are looking for.
Okay, first question up. Describe your experience with soil testing and analysis. Seems pretty straightforward, but what are they really trying to gauge here?
They're looking for 2 main things, really. One is practical experience, obviously, but 2, they want to see your technical knowledge. Do you actually understand the procedures, and can you articulate your experience in a way that just screams competence?
So it's not enough to just say, yeah, I've done some soil testing. What would a strong answer actually sound like?
Yeah, specificity is key here. You want to mention the types of tests you've conducted, like SU analysis, Atterberg limits, compaction tests, things like that. But don't just name drop.
Right.
Describe what those tests actually involve and what those results tell you about the soil's properties.
So show that you understand the why, not just the how.
Precisely. And if you've used any specialized equipment, like a direct shear apparatus or a triaxial testing machine, definitely mention those as well. Paints a picture of you being comfortable with those tools of the trade.
Okay, be specific, mention equipment. What about actually interpreting those results?
Oh, that's crucial. Explain how you've analyzed data, drawn conclusions. Maybe you identified a high plasticity clay that needs specific foundation considerations, or a granular soil that's perfect for drainage.
Oh, okay.
Show them you can turn that raw data into actionable insights.
And this is where I think RoleCatcher's AI could really come in handy, right? Like you could plug in the job description in your initial answer,
Oh, absolutely.
and it'll give you some tips to fine-tune it.
Yeah, it might suggest mentioning relevant software or connecting your experience to the company's specific projects, or highlight certain skills they're looking for. It's like having a personalized cheat sheet for every interview.
Okay, question 2. How do you ensure compliance with safety regulations on a job site? This seems pretty straightforward, but what's the deeper message here?
It goes beyond just knowing the rules, right?
Yeah.
They're looking at your commitment to safety, your awareness of hazards, and your ability to create that safe working environment.
So it's not just about ticking boxes, it's about genuinely prioritizing safety. How do you showcase that in your answer?
I think a good starting point is by outlining your understanding of relevant regulations, maybe OSHA guidelines, specific industry standards, but then you want to go beyond the rule book and give specific examples.
Okay, so what kind of examples would really impress them?
Think about times you identified hazards and actually took action. Maybe you secured a loose cable, flagged an area with poor ventilation, conducted regular safety inspections, or maybe you trained colleagues on proper safety procedures. Show them you're proactive, not just reactive.
Those are good. But what if they throw a curveball and say, tell me about a time you had to address a safety violation?
That's where having a specific anecdote ready is key. Describe a situation where you witnessed a violation and how you handled it calmly, professionally, and effectively. They want to see you can enforce protocols without, creating chaos.
And again, wouldn't RoleCatcher's AI be helpful here too? Like maybe the company really emphasizes environmental safety or worker training, and the AI could suggest ways to tailor your answer accordingly.
Absolutely. It's all about showing you've done your research and you're genuinely thinking about how to contribute to their specific safety culture.
All right, question 3. How do you analyze and interpret geological data? What's the key takeaway for our listeners here?
With this one, they're evaluating your analytical skills, right? How you apply geological principles. Can you take that raw data, make sense of it, and draw conclusions that are actually relevant to the project?
So it's not just about crunching numbers, it's about understanding the bigger geological picture. How do you showcase that in your answer?
First, you want to show familiarity with different types of geological data, maps, cross-sections, borehole logs, geophysical surveys, things like that. Then, explain how you gather, organize, and analyze that data.
And what about specific techniques? Should they be name-dropping software or anything like that?
Definitely. If you're comfortable with Sterionets, Rockworks, Leapfrog, any of those industry standard tools, mention them. Demonstrates your technical proficiency.
Okay, so far so good. But how do you take it a step further and show you can actually interpret the data, not just process it?
This is where you connect the data to those real-world implications. Did your analysis of borehole logs reveal a fault zone that could impact a slope's stability? Did you use geophysical data to pinpoint a mineral deposit? Give an example that shows you can turn that data into actionable insights.
And I bet RoleCatcher's AI could be a game changer here too, right?
Oh, for sure. By analyzing the job description and the company's projects, the AI can identify the types of data analysis techniques that are most relevant. Maybe they're focused on groundwater modeling or rock mechanics analysis. The AI can guide you to emphasize the skills and experience that align with their specific needs.
All right, so question 4 is, how do you manage multiple projects simultaneously? Now, this one seems a little less technical.
Yeah.
And more about, your organizational skills.
Absolutely, yeah. This question dives into your ability to, juggle those tasks, prioritize effectively, stay organized, especially in a fast-paced environment, which, let's be honest, is pretty common in geotech.
Right, because you're often involved in multiple projects at different stages. It was all about demonstrating that you can handle that workload without, dropping the ball.
Exactly. They want to see you can stay on top of deadlines, manage your time wisely, and keep all those plates spinning without sacrificing the quality of your work.
So how should you approach this question to make a really positive impression?
You could start by outlining your approach to project management. Maybe you use a to-do list, a project management app, a color-coded calendar system. Whatever your method is, describe it clearly and concisely.
Okay, so showcase your organizational toolkit. But what if you haven't used, fancy project management tools?
No problem at all. Even simple methods can be really effective. Prioritizing tasks based on deadlines, breaking down big projects into smaller, more manageable chunks, using a calendar for scheduling. The key is to articulate your system in a way that shows you can stay organized and manage your time well.
So it's not about the specific tools, it's more about the thought process behind your organization.
Exactly. It's about showing you have a system that works for you and helps you stay on track.
Now let's talk about those specific examples. What kind of anecdote would really resonate with an interviewer for this question?
I would think about a time when you successfully managed multiple projects with competing deadlines. Describe the challenges you faced, how you prioritized tasks, and how you ensured all those projects were completed on time and to the required standards. Maybe even mention any positive feedback you received about your organizational skills from colleagues or supervisors.
Great point about highlighting that positive feedback. Add a little extra credibility. Now, what about potential follow-up questions? Like, tell me about a time you felt overwhelmed with your workload. How did you handle it?
That's a good one. This question is designed to see how you problem solve and handle stress. And it's okay to acknowledge that feeling overwhelmed can happen, but focus on how you proactively address the situation. Maybe you communicated with your supervisor to reprioritize tasks or sought assistance from colleagues. Key is to show that you can identify the issue, come up with a solution, and manage the situation effectively.
So turn a potential negative into a demonstration of your resilience and problem-solving abilities. Before we move on, let's touch on RoleCatcher's AI again. How can it help with this particular question?
Well, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze the job description and the company's culture to really identify the project management skills that they value most. Maybe they're looking for someone who's very independent, or maybe they emphasize teamwork and collaboration. The AI can suggest ways to frame your answer and highlight those specific qualities.
Okay, so align your response with the company's work environment and values.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, question number 5. Describe your experience with slope stability analysis. What does the interviewer really want to hear about here?
This question is diving into a very specific technical skill, your ability to analyze and understand the factors that influence whether a slope is going to hold or fail. And that's crucial for so many projects, from road construction to mining. It's all about safety.
Yeah, it's a chance to showcase your expertise in an area with some pretty high stakes. So how do you approach this one strategically?
Well, you want to start by demonstrating your understanding of those basic principles. Soil types, groundwater conditions, slope geometry, external loads, all those things that can make a slope unstable.
Okay, lay the groundwork with the theory. But then, how do you bring in your practical experience?
Talk about the specific methods you've used for slope stability analysis. Have you conducted field investigations? Used software like Slide or Rock Science for numerical modeling, interpreted geotechnical reports. Paint a picture of your hands-on experience.
So connect the theory to the real world. What kind of anecdote would really drive this point home?
Think about a project where you played a role in assessing a slope's stability. Maybe a road construction project where you analyze those cut slopes, or a mining operation where you had to assess those waste rock dumps. Describe the challenges, the methods you used, and the outcome.
And what about those curveball follow-up questions like, tell me about a time you had to make a tough call about a slope stability. What factors did you consider?
That's where you can really showcase your judgment and that commitment to safety. Think of a time you faced a challenging situation, maybe you recommended a project delay, or a costly mitigation measure. Explain the data you analyzed, the rationale behind your decision.
So show you can make those tough calls when safety's on the line.
Exactly.
And again, I'm sensing a pattern here. RoleCatcher's AI could probably provide some targeted insights here too, right?
Oh, absolutely. By analyzing the company's projects, the AI can identify the types of slope stability challenges they commonly face. Maybe they specialize in mountainous terrain or coastal erosion. The AI can then suggest ways to tailor your answer to highlight your experience in those specific areas.
Okay, on to question number 6. How do you stay up to date with the latest geotechnical engineering techniques and technologies? This one feels less about specific technical skills and more about showing you're a lifelong learner, right?
You hit the nail on the head. Geotechnical engineering is constantly evolving, and interviewers want to see that you're passionate enough about this field to keep learning and growing.
So how do you showcase that in your answer?
Highlight specific actions you take to stay current. Maybe you subscribe to industry journals like Geotechnique or the Canadian Geotechnical Journal, or attend conferences and workshops. Mentioning specific organizations like the American Society of Civil Engineers or the International Society for Rock Mechanics shows you're plugged into that professional community.
Okay, so name drop those reputable sources, but what about online resources? Those are huge nowadays, right?
Absolutely. Webinars, online courses, industry blogs, forums, all of these show you're resourceful and adaptable in your pursuit of knowledge.
All right, so how do you turn this into a compelling anecdote, not just list of things you read?
Think about a time you learned something new and applied it to a project. Maybe you attended a workshop on ground improvement techniques and used that knowledge to design a more cost-effective foundation system. Or maybe you learned a new software program for slope stability analysis and used it to improve the accuracy of your assessments. Show them you turn that knowledge into action.
That's a great way to bring it to life. Now, what if they ask, what's a recent development in geotechnical engineering that you find particularly interesting, and how do you see it impacting the industry?
That's your chance to showcase your awareness of industry trends and your ability to think critically about those implications. Choose something that genuinely excites you. Maybe advancements in ground-penetrating radar or new soil stabilization techniques. Explain those potential benefits, the challenges, and how you see it shaping the future of the field.
So show them you're not just focused on the day-to-day tasks, you're thinking about the bigger picture. And once again, RoleCatcher's AI can probably help tailor your answer here, right?
Absolutely. The AI can analyze industry news and the company's publications to identify the technologies and trends that are most relevant to their work. And then it can suggest ways to tailor your response to showcase your alignment with their areas of focus.
Okay, question 7. Describe your experience with field testing. What are they really trying to dig into here?
This one's all about your hands-on experience. Can you translate that theoretical knowledge into real-world action? Are you comfortable working on-site and handling the challenges of field testing?
So it's about showing you're not just a bookworm. You can get your hands dirty, get the job done.
Yeah.
How do you paint that picture for the interviewer?
I would start by outlining the types of field tests you've conducted. Standard penetration tests, permeability tests, undisturbed soil sampling. The more specific, the better.
And what about equipment? Is it worth mentioning specific tools you've used?
Oh, for sure. If you're comfortable operating a dynamic cone penetrometer or a vane shear apparatus, highlight it. Shows you're familiar with those tools of the trade.
Okay, but they're not just looking for a list of tests and equipment. How do you demonstrate you understand the bigger picture of field testing?
This is where you connect that field data to those practical implications. Did you use SPT data to develop a soil profile for a foundation design? Did you conduct permeability tests to assess a site's suitability for a landfill? Show them you can turn those field measurements into those actionable insights.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
What about those unexpected moments in the field, those curveballs that really test your problem-solving skills? What if they ask, tell me about a time you encountered unexpected results during field testing. How did you troubleshoot the situation?
That's when you get to showcase your adaptability and your critical thinking. Think of a time you faced a challenge, like maybe encountering an obstruction during drilling or getting inconsistent test results. Explain how you identified that problem, the adjustments you made, and the outcome.
So it's about showing you can think on your feet, find solutions when things don't go exactly as planned. And I bet RoleCatcher's AI could help you anticipate some of those, like, company-specific challenges, right?
You bet. By analyzing those past projects, the AI can identify the types of field testing challenges they commonly encounter. Maybe they specialize in offshore geotechnical investigations or work in karst terrain. The AI can then suggest ways to tailor your response to showcase your experience in those areas.
Okay, question 8. How do you ensure quality control on a job site? This seems to go beyond just technical skills and into the realm of process and attention to detail. What's the core message here?
They're assessing your understanding of quality assurance principles, your commitment to accuracy, and your ability to maintain those high standards throughout a project. They want to see that you're not just getting the job done, you're getting it done right.
So it's about showing them that you're meticulous and you have a systematic approach to ensuring the integrity of your work.
Exactly. Start by outlining your understanding of quality control procedures. Do you follow specific checklists or protocols? Are you familiar with industry standards like ASTM or ISO? Have you received any training in quality management systems?
Okay, so lay the groundwork with the procedures you adhere to. But then how do you bring it to life with some specific examples?
Describe actions you take to ensure quality throughout a project. Do you meticulously double-check those calculations, calibrate equipment regularly, conduct peer reviews of data and reports? Do you have a system for tracking samples and documenting test results? Show them you're proactive, not just reactive.
And what about those moments where you have to, advocate for quality, even when it's not the easiest path? What if they ask, tell me about a time you had to convince a colleague or supervisor of the importance of a quality control measure?
That's your chance to demonstrate your leadership and communication skills. Think of a time you had to stand up for quality, maybe persuading a colleague to repeat a questionable test, or convincing a supervisor to allocate more resources to a quality assurance program. Explain the situation, your approach, and that positive outcome.
So it's about showing that you're not afraid to champion quality, even when it requires that extra effort or persuasion. And I'm guessing, once again, RoleCatcher's AI could provide some, company-specific insights here as well.
You bet. By analyzing the company's website, their mission statement, even client testimonials, the AI can identify the specific quality standards they emphasize. Maybe they pride themselves on delivering projects on time and within budget, or highlight their commitment to sustainability. The AI can suggest ways to tailor your response to showcase your alignment with their core values.
Okay, last question from RoleCatcher's interview guide. Describe your experience with geotechnical drilling. What are they really after with this one?
This question dives into your experience with a fundamental aspect of geotechnical site investigation. They want to know you understand drilling methods, the equipment involved, and how to oversee the process safely and effectively.
So it's about showcasing your hands-on experience with a technique that's essential for gathering that subsurface data. How do you approach this strategically?
Start by outlining the types of drilling methods you're familiar with. Auger drilling, rotary drilling, sonic drilling. Explain the principles behind each method and the situations where each one's most appropriate.
Okay, so showcase your diverse drilling toolkit. And what about specific drilling rigs and equipment?
Definitely. If you've operated or supervised specific rigs or tools, mention those. Talk about track-mounted rigs, truck-mounted rigs, core barrels, augers, casing systems. The more specific, the better. It shows you're comfortable with those practical aspects and that you can communicate effectively with drilling crews.
Okay, so you've laid out your drilling knowledge, but how do you take it a step further and show you understand those nuances of drilling, those moments where things don't go exactly as planned?
Talk about those challenges and the troubleshooting aspects of drilling. Have you encountered difficult ground conditions like fractured rock or loose sands? Have you dealt with issues like borehole collapse or lost circulation? Explain how you address those challenges and ensure the quality of those samples retrieved.
So highlight those problem-solving skills and your ability to think critically in the field. What kind of anecdote would really bring this to life?
Think about a project where you played a key role in overseeing that drilling process. Maybe a site investigation for a high-rise, where you supervised drilling those deep boreholes to characterize bedrock conditions. Or a dam safety project where you oversaw the drilling of piezometers to monitor groundwater pressure. Describe those objectives, the challenges, and the successful outcome.
And what about those tough calls that can impact a project's cost or schedule? What if they ask, describe a time you had to make a decision that impacted the drilling program?
That's where you demonstrate your decision-making skills, your ability to balance competing priorities. Maybe you had to decide whether to deepen a borehole for more data or terminate drilling due to budget limitations. Explain the factors you considered and the rationale behind your decision.
So it's about showing you can make those tough strategic calls. And for the last time on this question, does RoleCatcher's AI have any tricks up its sleeve to help tailor the answer?
Oh, of course. By analyzing the company's project portfolio and their geographical location, the AI can identify the types of drilling challenges they commonly face. Maybe they work in remote locations with limited access, or they encounter challenging ground conditions like karst or permafrost. The AI can suggest ways to highlight your experience in those specific areas.
Okay, now that we've tackled those interview questions, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture of a geotechnician's career path. RoleCatcher's Geotechnician Career Guide had some great insights on the pros and cons of this field. Want to dive into those?
Absolutely. It's one thing to ace that interview, but it's equally important to understand what you're really getting yourself into.
Exactly. So let's start with the good stuff. What are some of the key advantages of pursuing a career as a geotechnician?
Well, right off the bat, RoleCatcher highlights that high demand. As the world invests more in infrastructure and development, the need for skilled geotechnicians is only going to increase. That translates into job security, which is huge in today's market.
Job security. That's music to anyone's ears. And what about the financial side of things?
Good news there, too. Geotechnicians typically earn a good salary, which makes sense considering the specialized knowledge and responsibility that comes with the role. You're contributing to those critical projects. That expertise is valued.
Okay, high demand, good salary. Those are strong starting points. What other advantages did RoleCatcher point out?
They emphasize that opportunity for growth. The career path for a geotechnician is well-defined, with clear steps from entry level to those senior positions. So that means you can build a long-term career, gaining expertise and responsibility along the way.
So there's a sense of direction, a clear path for advancement. What else did they mention?
They highlight the hands-on nature of the work. If you enjoy working outdoors, collecting samples, operating equipment, this field offers that tangible, real-world experience. You're not stuck behind a desk all day. You're out there contributing to projects that actually shape the world around us.
Sounds like a great fit for someone who likes to be active and see the results of their work firsthand. What other aspects of the job did they find appealing?
They emphasize the ability to make a positive impact. Geotechnicians play a crucial role in ensuring the safety and stability of structures and infrastructure. Your work directly contributes to protecting lives and creating a more resilient built environment. That sense of purpose can be incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, it's not just about rocks and dirt. It's about contributing to something bigger than yourself. That's powerful. Did RoleCatcher mention any other pros?
They pointed out the variety of work environments. Geotechnicians can work on diverse projects, from small residential developments to massive infrastructure projects like dams and tunnels. You could find yourself working in urban areas, remote wilderness settings, even offshore.
So there's a sense of adventure, the opportunity to experience those different landscapes, different project types. Definitely doesn't sound monotonous.
Not at all. And lastly, they highlight that it's a constantly evolving field. New technologies are always emerging, new techniques are being developed, and the industry is constantly adapting to meet those challenges of a changing world. So you're always learning, always growing, and always on the cutting edge.
Sounds pretty exciting. But let's be realistic, no job is perfect. RoleCatcher also pointed out some potential drawbacks to being a geotechnician. What were some of the challenges they highlighted?
Well, they acknowledge that it can be physically demanding. You're spending time outdoors, often in challenging weather conditions. You're lifting equipment, collecting samples, working on uneven terrain. So you need to be prepared to get your hands dirty, literally, and have that physical stamina to keep up.
Okay, so it's not for the faint of heart. What other potential downsides did they mention?
They highlighted that potential exposure to hazardous materials. Depending on the project, you might be working with contaminated soil or rock or exposed to dust, fumes, or chemicals. So it's crucial to be aware of those risks and follow those proper safety protocols to protect yourself.
Safety first, always. What other challenges did they mention?
They acknowledge that the work can be challenging and stressful at times. You're dealing with complex technical problems, tight deadlines, and the pressure to deliver accurate results that have significant implications for the project. It's not a job for the faint of heart, requires mental resilience and the ability to handle pressure effectively.
So you need to be able to think critically, solve problems, and stay calm under pressure. What other potential downsides did they highlight?
They mentioned the possibility of long hours and travel. Depending on the project location and deadlines, you might be required to work overtime, weekends, or even extended shifts. You might also be required to travel frequently, which can be disruptive to your personal life.
So there's a potential for work-life balance challenges. And do they mention any other cons?
They pointed out that job opportunities might be limited in certain geographical areas. While geotechnical engineering is in demand globally, certain regions might have more concentrated opportunities than others, depending on the types of projects and industries that are prevalent in that area.
So it's important to consider the job market in your desired location. Before you set your sights on a specific city or region, do some research to understand the types of geotechnical projects happening there and the companies that are hiring.
Exactly. Yeah, and that you're committed to producing high-quality work that meets the highest industry standards.
So it's about proving that you're not just checking boxes, but that you genuinely care about the accuracy and the reliability of your work, and that you have a systematic approach to ensuring quality.
Exactly. It's about showing them that you're meticulous and that you have a well-defined process for maintaining quality throughout every stage of a project.
So how do you showcase that commitment to quality control in your answer? Where do you even begin?
Start by outlining your understanding of quality control procedures. Do you follow a specific checklist or protocol? Are you familiar with industry standards like ASTM or ISO? Have you received training in quality management systems? Laying that groundwork demonstrates that you're well-versed in the principles of quality assurance.
Okay, so you've established your knowledge of the procedures. Now, how do you take it a step further and showcase how you actually implement those quality control measures in your day-to-day work?
This is where you get specific and provide tangible examples. Describe the actions you take to ensure quality throughout a project. Maybe you meticulously double-check your calculations, calibrate your equipment regularly, or conduct peer reviews of data and reports. Perhaps you implement a system for tracking samples and meticulously documenting test results. The key is to paint a picture of a proactive and systematic approach to quality control, rather than just reacting to problems after they arise.
So it's about demonstrating a preventative approach to quality rather than just a corrective one. It's about showing them that you're not just fixing mistakes, but you're actively preventing them from happening in the first place.
Precisely. It's about showcasing that you have a keen eye for detail, a meticulous approach to your work, and a deep understanding of the importance of accuracy and precision in geotechnical engineering.
Now let's talk about those moments where you have to really advocate for quality, even when it might not be the easiest or most convenient path. What if they ask, tell me about a time when you had to convince a colleague or supervisor of the importance of a quality control measure? How did you approach the situation?
That's your chance to really shine and showcase your leadership skills, your communication skills, and your unwavering commitment to maintaining high standards even in the face of resistance. Think of a time when you had to stand up for quality control, even when it wasn't the popular thing to do. Maybe you had to persuade a colleague to repeat a test that yielded questionable results or convince a supervisor to allocate more resources to a quality assurance program. Explain the situation, your approach, and how your actions ultimately led to a positive outcome for the project.
So it's about demonstrating that you're not just a follower, but a leader who's willing to champion quality even when it requires extra effort or persuasion. That's a powerful message to convey. And I'm curious, once again, if RoleCatcher's AI could provide some company-specific insights here as well.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher's AI can analyze the company's website, their mission statement, and even client testimonials to identify the specific quality standards they emphasize. Maybe they pride themselves on delivering projects on time and within budget, or perhaps they highlight their commitment to environmental sustainability. The AI can then suggest ways to tailor your response to showcase your alignment with their core values and quality focus.
That's brilliant. So you're essentially demonstrating that you're not just talking about quality in a general sense, but that you understand the specific ways they prioritize and value quality within their unique company culture.
Exactly. It shows you've done your research and that you're genuinely interested in contributing to their success by upholding the quality standards they hold dear.
Okay, let's move on to the ninth and final question from the RoleCatcher Interview Guide. Describe your experience with geotechnical drilling. What's the core focus of this question? What are they really trying to assess here?
This question delves into your experience with one of the most fundamental aspects of geotechnical site investigation. They want to know you're familiar with various drilling methods, understand the equipment involved, and can oversee the drilling process safely and effectively. It's about showcasing your practical experience with a technique that's crucial for gathering that essential subsurface data.
So it's about demonstrating your hands-on experience with a process that's essential for understanding the ground beneath our feet. How do you approach this question strategically? Where do you even begin?
Start by outlining the types of drilling methods you're familiar with. Have you worked with auger drilling, rotary drilling, or sonic drilling? Explain the principles behind each method and describe the situations where each technique is most appropriate. Showcasing your knowledge of these various drilling methods demonstrates your versatility and your ability to choose the right tool for the job.
Okay, so you've laid out your drilling knowledge, but what about the actual drilling rigs and equipment? Should you be mentioning those as well?
Absolutely. If you've operated or supervised the use of specific drilling rigs, like track-mounted rigs or truck-mounted rigs, be sure to mention them. Highlight your familiarity with drilling tools such as core barrels, augers, and casing systems. The more specific you can be, the better. It demonstrates that you're comfortable with the practical aspects of drilling and that you can communicate effectively with drilling crews.
That's a great point about highlighting your ability to work collaboratively with the drilling team. It's not just about knowing the theory, it's about having that hands-on experience and being able to work effectively with the people on the ground. Now, how do you take it a step further and show that you understand the nuances of drilling those moments where things don't go exactly as planned?
That's where you talk about the challenges and the troubleshooting aspects of drilling. Have you encountered difficult ground conditions like fractured rock or loose sands? Have you had to deal with issues like borehole collapse or lost circulation? Explain how you address these challenges, the adjustments you made, and the steps you took to ensure the quality of the samples retrieved. Showcasing your problem-solving skills and your ability to think critically in the field is incredibly valuable.
Okay, so you've talked about the different drilling methods, the equipment, and even those challenging moments in the field. What kind of anecdote would really bring this all together and showcase your experience with geotechnical drilling?
Think about a project where you played a key role in overseeing the drilling process. Maybe you were involved in a site investigation for a high-rise building where you supervised the drilling of deep boreholes to characterize bedrock conditions. Or perhaps you worked on a dam safety project where you oversaw the drilling of piezometers to monitor groundwater pressures. Describe the objectives of the drilling program, the challenges you faced, and the successful outcome of your efforts.
That's a great way to showcase your experience and highlight your contributions to a project. Now, what about those tough calls, those decisions that can impact a project's cost or schedule? What if they ask, describe a time when you had to make a decision that impacted the cost or schedule of a drilling program? How did you approach the situation?
That's a great question, and it's a perfect opportunity to demonstrate your decision-making skill,
Yeah.
your ability to balance competing priorities, and your understanding of the financial and logistical constraints of a project. Think of a situation where you had to make a difficult call regarding the drilling program. Maybe you had to decide whether to deepen a borehole to obtain additional data or terminate drilling due to budget limitations. Explain the factors you considered, the risks you assessed, and the rationale behind your decision.
So it's about showing them that you're not just focused on the technical aspects of drilling, but that you can also think strategically about the bigger picture and make informed decisions that align with the overall project goals.
Exactly. It demonstrates that you're not just a technician following orders, but that you're capable of thinking critically, analyzing risks, and making sound judgments that benefit the entire project.
And before we move on from this question for the last time, does RoleCatcher's AI have any tricks up its sleeve to help tailor the answer to specific companies or roles?
Of course, RoleCatcher's AI is like that friend who always has your back.
Mm-hmm.
By analyzing the company's project portfolio, their client list, and their geographical location, the AI can identify the types of drilling challenges they commonly encounter. Maybe they specialize in working in remote locations with limited access or frequently encounter challenging ground conditions like karst or permafrost. The AI can then suggest ways to tailor your response to showcase your experience in those specific areas, demonstrating your ability to hit the ground running and tackle their unique drilling challenges.
Okay, that's fantastic. It's like having a personalized cheat sheet for each interview, helping you highlight the most relevant aspects of your experience. Now that we've tackled those interview questions, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture of a geotechnician's career path. RoleCatcher's Geotechnician Career Guide provides some great insights into the pros and cons of this field. Want to dive into those?
Absolutely. Acing the interview is important, but it's equally crucial to understand the realities of the job. What are you really getting yourself into?
Exactly. So let's start with the good stuff. What are some of the key advantages of pursuing a career as a geotechnician? What makes this field so appealing?
Well, right off the bat, RoleCatcher highlights the high demand. As the world continues to invest in infrastructure and development, the need for skilled geotechnicians is only going to increase. And that translates into job security, which is a major plus in today's ever-changing job market.
Job security is always a welcome perk.
Yeah.
And what about the financial side of things? How does the salary for a geotechnician stack up?
RoleCatcher reports that geotechnicians typically earn a good salary, which makes sense considering the specialized knowledge and the level of responsibility that comes with the role. You're contributing to critical projects, and that expertise is valued.
Okay, so high demand, good salary. It's a
Mm.
pretty solid foundation to build a career on. What other advantages did RoleCatcher point out? What are some of the other perks of this profession?
One of the things they emphasized is the opportunity for growth. The career path for a geotechnician is well defined with clear steps from entry level to senior positions. You're not stuck in a dead-end job. You have a roadmap for advancement, and you can continue to learn, grow, and take on more responsibility throughout your career.
So there's a sense of direction and a clear trajectory for professional development. That's definitely appealing. What else did they mention?
They highlighted the hands-on nature of the work, which can be a huge draw for people who enjoy working outdoors. You're collecting samples, operating equipment, and interacting with the physical world. It's not a desk job. You're out there in the field making things happen.
That definitely sounds like a good fit for someone who likes to stay active and see the tangible results of their work. What other aspects of the job did RoleCatcher find appealing?
They emphasize the ability to make a positive impact. Geotechnicians play a crucial role in ensuring the safety and stability of structures and infrastructure. Your work directly contributes to protecting lives and creating a more resilient built environment. That sense of purpose can be incredibly motivating and rewarding.
It's not just about rocks and dirt. It's about contributing to something larger than yourself. That's a powerful message. Did RoleCatcher mention any other pros of working as a geotechnician?
They pointed out the variety of work environments. Geotechnicians can work on a wide range of projects, from small residential developments to massive infrastructure projects like dams and tunnels. You could find yourself working in bustling urban areas, remote wilderness settings, or even offshore. There's a lot of diversity in terms of project types and geographical locations.
It definitely sounds like a career path that can keep you engaged and challenged. Now let's flip the coin and talk about some of the potential downsides. No job is perfect, and RoleCatcher was upfront about some of the challenges that come with being a geotechnician. What are some of the things that potential candidates should be aware of?
One of the things they highlighted is the physically demanding nature of the work. You'll be spending a lot of time outdoors, often in challenging weather conditions. You'll be lifting equipment, collecting samples, and working on uneven terrain. So it's important to be physically fit and prepared to work hard.
So this is definitely not a job for someone who wants to be stuck behind a desk all day.
Exactly.
You need to be comfortable working outdoors in all kinds of weather, and you need to be able to handle the physical demands of the job.
Okay, so physical fitness is important. What other potential downsides did RoleCatcher mention? They highlighted the potential exposure to hazardous materials. Depending on the project, you might be working with contaminated soil or rock, or you might be exposed to dust fumes or chemicals. So it's crucial to be aware of these risks and to follow strict safety protocols to protect yourself.
Safety should always be a top priority in any job, but especially in a field like geotechnical engineering, where you're often working with heavy equipment and potentially hazardous materials. What other challenges did RoleCatcher mention?
They acknowledge that the work can be challenging and stressful at times. You'll be dealing with complex technical problems, tight deadlines, and the pressure to deliver accurate results that have significant implications for the project. So it's not a job for the faint of heart. You need to be able to think critically, solve problems, and handle pressure effectively.
Those are definitely valuable skills to have in any profession. But it sounds like they're especially important in geotechnical engineering, where the stakes can be quite high. What other potential downsides did RoleCatcher highlight?
They mentioned the possibility of long hours and travel. Depending on the project location and the deadlines involved, you might be required to work overtime weekends or even extended shifts. You might also be required to travel frequently, which can disrupt your personal life and make it challenging to maintain a healthy work-life balance.
Work-life balance is so important, and it sounds like it's something that potential geotechnicians need to be mindful of. Did they mention any other cons?
They pointed out that job opportunities might be limited in certain geographical areas. While geotechnical engineering is in demand globally, the concentration of opportunities can vary depending on the region. Some areas might have a higher concentration of projects and employers than others.
So it's important to do your research and understand the job market in your desired location. Before you pack your bags and move across the country, make sure there are actually job opportunities in that area.
Exactly. It's always a good idea to research the types of geotechnical projects happening in a particular region and to identify the companies that are actively hiring.
Now that we've covered the pros and cons of being a geotechnician, let's shift gears and talk about how RoleCatcher can help you prepare for those all-important interviews. They offer some fantastic tools that can give you a competitive edge and really help you stand out from the crowd. Want to dive into those?
Absolutely. Let's explore how RoleCatcher can help you level up your interview game.
Okay, let's start with their CV resume builder. What can you tell us about that?
The CV Resume Builder is a game changer. It's designed to help you create a standout resume that highlights your most relevant skills and experience. And here's the really cool part. It utilizes AI to tailor your resume to specific job descriptions.
Wait, hold on. So it actually analyzes the job you're applying for and suggests ways to optimize your resume to match their keywords and requirements.
You got it. It's like having a professional resume writer in your pocket. It can help you structure your content, effectively choose powerful action verbs, and ensure you're hitting all the right notes to get past those applicant tracking systems and land directly on the hiring manager's desk.
That's incredible. It takes all the guesswork and stress out of resume writing. And speaking of AI, RoleCatcher also offers AI-powered feedback on your interview responses, right?
That's right. You can practice answering common interview questions and get personalized feedback from their AI. It'll analyze your word choice, your tone, and even your body language if you're using their video practice feature. It provides specific insights to help you come across as confident, articulate, and genuinely enthusiastic.
Wow, it's like having a virtual interview coach right there in your living room.
Yeah.
So you're not just practicing in a vacuum, you're getting targeted feedback that can help you refine your answers and boost your confidence.
Exactly. It's about taking all the nerves and uncertainty out of the interview process and feeling prepared and empowered to showcase your best self.
Okay, so we've talked about the technical knowledge, the interview strategies, and even some awesome AI-powered tools to help you prepare. What else can our listener do to truly stand out in that interview? What are some of those intangible things that can make a big difference?
It's all about going the extra mile and showing them that you're genuinely interested in this specific company and this specific role. Research the company, thoroughly understand their projects, their values, and their culture. Prepare insightful questions to ask the interviewer. It shows you've done your homework and that you're not just going through the motions.
So it's about demonstrating that you're not just looking for any job, you're looking for this job.
Precisely. And don't underestimate the power of enthusiasm. Let your passion for geotechnical engineering shine through. Talk about the projects that excite you, the challenges you're eager to tackle, and the contributions you're ready to make.
That's great advice. Enthusiasm is contagious, and it can really make a lasting impression on the interviewer. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We've covered a lot of ground, from understanding the role of a geotechnician to tackling those tricky interview questions to exploring the pros and cons of this exciting field. What are some of the key takeaways you'd like our listener to walk away with?
I think the most important takeaway is that preparation is key. Acing a geotechnical interview requires more than just technical knowledge. It's about showcasing your problem-solving skills, your communication skills, your passion for the field, and your understanding of the company's values and goals.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher's resources can be invaluable in helping you prepare. Their interview guide, their AI tools, their career insights, they provide a comprehensive toolkit to help you navigate the interview process and land that dream job.
And don't forget the importance of enthusiasm. Let your passion for geotechnical engineering shine through in your answers and in your interactions with the interviewer. Show them that you're genuinely excited about the opportunity to contribute to their team and to make a positive impact on the world.
Yeah, it sounds like soft skills are just as crucial as technical expertise in this field. Absolutely. Think about it. You're not just working with soil and rock samples. You're collaborating with teams of engineers, architects, and construction crews. Being able to communicate effectively, solve problems together, and adapt to ever-changing project dynamics, those are the skills that make a geotechnician truly stand out.
Exactly.
So for someone prepping for their interview, how can they, showcase these soft skills? It's not always as easy as listing software, right?
You're right. It's about weaving those skills into your answers to those behavioral questions. Like, tell me about a time you faced a challenge on a team project. Describe a situation where you had to adapt to a sudden change in plans. Those are the moments to shine a light on those soft skills.
And this is where I think RoleCatcher's AI feedback can be a game changer. I mean, imagine getting feedback on not just what you say, but how you say it.
Oh, absolutely. Their AI can analyze your tone, your pacing, even your facial expressions if you're using that video practice feature. It's like having a personal coach, helping you refine those subtle communication cues that make a big difference in how you come across.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground today. Technical knowledge, interview strategies, career insights, even the power of AI. Before we wrap up, what's one key piece of advice you'd give to someone stepping into that geotechnician interview?
I would say, remember this, you're not just interviewing for a job. You're interviewing to join a team of people who are passionate about unraveling the Earth's mysteries and using that knowledge to build a safer, more sustainable world. Let that excitement shine through.
I love that. Let your passion for geotechnical engineering be your secret weapon.
Exactly.
It's about more than just technical skills. It's about that spark, that drive to understand the ground beneath our feet and use that knowledge to shape the world around us. So, to all of you future geotechnicians out there, good luck with your interviews.
You got this.